Today, we're tackling a super fascinating topic. We're demystifying recurrent neural networks, specifically focusing on RNN unrolling and sequence structures. But we aren't just going to sit around talking about abstract theory. No way. We're going to take these concepts all the way down to real-world, highly practical NumPy code. By the time we wrap up, you'll know exactly what's happening under the hood.
Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap. We'll start with Section 1, Unrolling the Sequential Reality. Then Section 2, Inside the RNN Memory. After that, Section 3, Molding Sequence Architectures, followed by Section 4, Translating Theory to NumPy. And finally, Section 5, Scaling for the Real World. Let's get to it.
Section 1, Unrolling the Sequential Reality.
So to really understand RNNs, we first have to tackle the fundamental challenge of time in data and why traditional neural networks just kind of fail at it. Think about the compact view of an RNN cell for a second. It's essentially a single node with a loop feeding right back into itself. But to actually compute that, we have to transform it into an unrolled view. We literally unroll time into discrete steps. We call these time steps, like t equals 1, t equals 2, and t equals 3. At every single step, a new input x enters, an output y might be generated, and crucially, this is the magic part, a hidden state h, which acts as the network's memory, is passed from one time step directly into the next.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that unrolled structure is so essential. Traditional feed-forward neural networks, they assume every single input is completely independent. That's great for static data, sure, but it is completely blind to time. The real world, the sequential reality, is different. Things like text, speech, or time series data rely entirely on context. Like to understand word number 3 in the sentence, "I want to go to the movies," you absolutely have to remember words number 1 and 2.
So, honestly, the best way to think about this is visualizing time as physical space. We're essentially modeling the passage of time as a physical left-to-right journey. At each stop on this journey, each time step, right, new information, our x, arrives from the bottom. It mixes with the hidden state, h, that just arrived from the left, and it potentially produces a prediction, y, going out the top. It's like an assembly line of context.
Section 2, Inside the RNN Memory.
Now you might be wondering, what exactly happens inside that single cell, the literal moment past memory and new input collide? Well, look at how elegantly the math handles this. The equation for the updated memory, the new hidden state h at time t, simply takes the previous memory, multiplies it by a weight matrix, and adds it to the new input multiplied by its own weight matrix. You toss in a bias, wrap the whole shebang in a tanh activation function just to keep the numbers nice and stable, and boom, you've got your updated memory completely ready to be passed to the next step. But hold on, because here is the absolute most critical secret of recurrent neural networks. It's all about weight sharing. Notice how the weight matrices, WHY, WHH, and WXH, are essentially locked in. As time moves forward, sure, the inputs change, the hidden state changes, but the rules, the matrices determining exactly how we process that information, they remain exactly identical at every single time step.
Let's actually lock this definition into our own memory, because it's that important. Weight sharing is the practice of using the exact same weight matrices at every time step. Why is this such a big deal? Well, if the weights changed per time step, the model would rigidly break on new sequence lengths. It would only work for the exact length it memorized while training. Weight sharing gives the RNA infinite flexibility. Whether a sentence is 3 words or 30 words, the exact same fundamental rules apply.
Section 3, Molding Sequence Architectures. Because we have this infinitely flexible, unrolled blueprint driven by shared weights, we can literally bend the architecture to fit vastly different kinds of real-world problems. It's incredibly adaptable. We can configure it as one-to-one, which is really just your standard neural network. We can do sequence-to-one, often called many-to-one, where we read a whole sequence but only care about a final output at the very end. We can do one-to-sequence or one-to-many, where a single input kicks off a whole stream of outputs. And of course, the classic sequence-to-sequence or many-to-many.
Let's ground this theory in some reality, though. Sequence-to-one is what powers sentiment analysis. If you feed the network the words the, weather, is, great, the hidden state builds up all that context, and only at the very end does it spit out a yay, saying positive. On the flip side, one-to-sequence is used for things like image captioning. You input a single image at the start, and the network uses its hidden state to sequentially generate the words, a dog running.
And for many-to-many, we actually have two flavors.
We've got synchronous configurations, where the inputs and outputs are perfectly aligned at every time step. This is awesome for tasks like analyzing every single frame of a video. Then we have asynchronous setups, like the encoder-decoder architecture. Here, the network reads the entire input sequence first to build a solid final context vector, and then decodes it into a completely new sequence. That right there, that is the exact foundation of machine translation.
Section 4. Translating Theory to NumPy. Let's write some code.
All right, developers, we've seen the visual theory, we've looked at the math equations. Now it is time to roll up our sleeves and translate this directly into Python. First, we set up our parameters. And the beautiful thing is, our theoretical variables map perfectly to NumPy. Input features map to input_features, hidden units to hidden units. And look at the weight sharing in action here. The matrix WXH is initialized exactly once using numpy.random.rand. No matter how many time steps we take later, we only generate these random starting weights one single time.
Now the most crucial concept, the big reveal, is right here. A standard for-in time steps loop in programming is the literal manifestation of RNN unrolling. As this loop runs, time physically ticks forward for the network. Inside that loop, we update the hidden state using NumPy dot products of our shared weights and the current input. Then we calculate the output. It's just a loop, guys. That's the secret.
Quick tangent. If you've ever used deep learning frameworks like PyTorch or Keras, you have likely seen a parameter called return sequences. Here is its visual secret. When return sequences is set to true, the framework collects the hidden state from every single time step, outputting a many-to-many shape. If it's false, the framework quietly discards all those intermediate steps and only hands you the final hidden state, giving you a many-to-one output shape. It all makes sense now, right?
Section 5. Scaling for the real world.
Because let's face it, real AI models do not process one single sequence at a time. That would take forever. To utilize GPUs effectively, we have to scale into multiple dimensions. Let's see how this builds into 3D tensors. Instead of a single sequence, we feed the model a batch of sequences simultaneously. So our data shape becomes a 3D block. Samples, which is the batch size. Tim steps, which is the length of the sequences. And features, the vector size of each input. We just initialize the hidden state memory for the entire batch at once using an array of zeros. But hey, real-world data is messy. Sequences have different lengths. Some sentences are short, some are super long. Since matrix math requires uniform dimensions, we use a technique called padding. We literally just fill the empty spaces of shorter sequences with zeros to match the longest sequence in the batch. Frameworks then use something called masking to tell the RNN loop to simply ignore those zeros, ensuring they don't corrupt our carefully calculated hidden state memory.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to do a quick knowledge check. Think about this carefully, based on everything we've talked about. In an RNN cell, when the time step loop reaches t equals 100, does the size or the value of the weight matrix change compared to what it was at t equals 1?
The answer is an emphatic no. It never changes. This is the absolute foundational principle of weight sharing. The network uses the exact same weight matrices for every single step in time, whether it's step 1, step 100, or step 1000. It's the defining feature that allows recurrent networks to process sequences of arbitrary lengths. Let's quickly summarize the 4 pillars of the RNN blueprint we've uncovered today. First, unrolling. We model time as discrete steps carrying a continuous hidden state. Second, consistency. Weight sharing ensures the matrix rules never change. Third, flexibility. We can bend these architectures to solve almost any sequential task out there. And fourth, scale. We deploy them using 3D tensors and padding to handle massive batches of messy, real-world data.
I want to leave you with this final thought. The simple, unrolled loop of an RNN isn't just a mathematical trick. It is the foundational blueprint that taught modern AI exactly how to remember the past in order to predict the future. The theory is beautiful for sure, but the code is where it actually comes alive. I highly encourage you to go open up a notebook, write your very first NumPy forward pass loop, and experience this memory engine for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.